All right, guys, this is Mongolian Mindset, and today we got Shelly with us. Thomas is at work, so we don't have the whole gang, but we're going to be helping. I'm gonna go with Santos. Okay, is that good? Santos.
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's okay.
I'm gonna go with Santos. We're gonna help him find his personality type today. You don't have to go into any traumas, anything like that. Um, we'll just ask you questions and you respond, and we'll try to triangulate down on your personality type. So go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
Okay. Oh, yes, my name. I'm Santos. Um, actually an African.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm currently in Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
And also I'm a student in
Mm-hmm.
a prestigious university here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm a medical student actually.
Oh
So
shit, cool, cool. Medical,
yeah. I'm not training to be a doctor, but a medical scientist.
medical scientist.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So what got you into that?
Well. hmm, growing up, I don't know. I think I've been a bit observant throughout my life, just growing up, and I've always wondered if there was more to everything. We're just not here to live and die. So basically, I was searching for a purpose, and I decided that I think the best would be a purpose that benefits everyone. So
Mm-hmm. So why you feel like you need to benefit everyone?
mm, but I think growing up and everything happening around, you know, I've always had this inclination towards melancholy. So in a way, it was like if I wanted to like actually understand happiness, I had to get it from making other people happy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not I think I can't generate that internally. So sort of I'm just absorbing it like externally. That's majorly what brought me there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you could have any job in the world, no restrictions, what would it be and why?
Come again?
If you could have any job in the world, no restrictions at all, what would you take and why?
Um, Still along my field, probably a medical doctor. And the reason particularly is I think medical doctors have less restrictions over things they can get into, like research, and the area of expertise is a bit wider than where I currently am. But basically, I'd be in the same field.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just science in general.
Mm-hmm.
I basically I would actually love and actually enjoy like trying to understand how things work, and that might also include like the human system, like how people and how the systems work. I actually find it fascinating. In its own way, it's a sort of the understanding is like how I deal with the ever changing world.
Mm-hmm. Okay, dope, man. That's pretty cool. Um, what do you want to be remembered for?
Oh, actually, I don't know if it's more like my name being remembered, but I'd actually want to contribute and like science and research. I'm
Why
currently
that?
working towards. Huh?
Why that?
Well, it's not really. I don't think I have a particular answer for this. It's more like, I'm thinking about doing something that lasts like, I don't know, for years to come. I think about it in this way, like you have people who worked on like virology and other things, like the smallpox vaccine, and how they are still remembered currently. So it's not really about, I don't know how to, but it's not really about my name being remembered, but more like being remembered for doing something that has impacted humanity for years to come.
Makes sense, man. Makes sense. If you had 3 wishes, what would you wish for and why?
Well, 3 wishes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I haven't thought about that. So I think my first wish would probably be like, will probably have a religious inclination because I'm Muslim. So yeah, I'd actually wish that everyone actually, gets to the promised land. Doesn't depend if you're religious or not. I'd actually wish for everyone to get to the promised land. And then a second would actually be, I'd like uh, more investment into education and also science in general. Because I think our key to survival is actually increasing our understanding. Matter of fact, that actually got me into something, looking for techniques and systems in how I could actually, improve memory and retention, things like that, because it's very important for me to understand something.
Oh, you got one more?
Oh yeah. Oh, oh no. I think I'm okay with two. Not really someone that goes for wishes. I think things we can find our way to get to things. We don't really have to, you know, wish.
Okay. Um. Hmm. 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 Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
Mm, uh, honestly, with things happening currently, it's really hard for me to like give like accurate prediction. But where I would hope to be in the next 10 years is probably going for my PhDs and you know working in a research facility.
Mm-hmm. Why that?
Yes.
Why you feel as though research in a facility, PhD? Why?
It still comes back to like the original thought.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's best to invest in something that benefits a lot of people, and I think research it opens the gateway to so much possibilities. We currently have Elon working on neural link and so many other things like that happening. So it opens a lot of possibilities to improve life. in general. And I think, in a way, okay, as I said, for a long time, I'm looking for more like a permanent impact.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's say in terms of, like, for instance, charity. You can go towards that way, but it's good. I guess it's great,
Mm-hmm.
but I still think that a long-lasting impact is better.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Not just today. Okay, you do this today, but how about like years to come?
Mm-hmm. So, if I had to ask you, just off case scenario, if you were to go to jail for anything, what would it be and why?
For what? A day?
If you were to go to jail, what do you
Yeah.
think it would be and why? If it was just a scenario that you ended up in jail, let's just say hypothetically, why?
Uh, well, I try my best to. Yeah. Okay, just like, okay. Let's say probably like maybe experimentations, probably.
Okay, man, dope. Experimentation. I
Yeah.
don't think
Or
anyone's ever said that.
yeah.
You watch
I
any
don't mean
anime?
like it.
You watch anime?
Oh,
You watch it?
yeah. Actually,
It reminds me of Orochimaru.
oh yeah.
Have you ever seen Naruto?
Freaky guy, but
No.
yeah. Actually,
Yeah. So
watching it as
Orochimaru
a
was experimenting on people, and then they had to like put a stop to Orochimaru, because he was
yeah. I
experimenting.
mean, okay. Yeah, like there's like a, how do I put it? Like a limit to how far you can go, but I still think, cause he's bad, or they say he's bad. It's not
Mhm.
necessarily that he's evil. I don't see things as evil and good. And in some cases, when like the benefit outweighs, like, uh, the bad, I can still consider that, like, okay.
Okay. Okay. Um, if you could be born in any time period, what would you like to be born and why?
Mm. I got two answers for that, actually. Do I get like two
Go for
tries?
it. Yeah, go for it, man.
Uh, all right. One, most likely, like in the future, maybe like 500 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Mainly as just an observer of, like, how far we've gotten, or how far we've gone.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that would be how far we've come since I'll be in the future. So okay.
Mm-hmm.
So just an observer to see the improvement in technology and, like, the health line and life in general.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, if I were to, like, time travel to the past, it would probably be to, yeah, for the past is a bit more personal,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
or be to, I think, maybe just, I don't know, guide myself towards where I'd like to be in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Because I still think, like, okay, a place I want to be right now, I'm not currently there, and it's probably due to some things that happened, or some things that I did not do in the past, or some things that I was trying to get away from. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. Let's see. Um, if I fast forwarded your life to 100, what is something you think you would miss out on?
mm, uh, um, I don't know, depends. Do I have kids or I don't? Like,
let's say you got kids. Let's do two scenarios. One scenario you don't have kids. The other scenario you do have kids.
Okay. My answer is always based on, like, they're different for certain situations. So probably if I had kids, like, a lot, taking care of them, guiding them, and seeing them grow up, definitely I would miss out on that.
Okay.
Well, I didn't have kids. I mean, nothing much really.
All right. I'm gonna hit you. What are your thoughts on AI?
Well, splitting views, obviously. Yeah.
Hmm?
As I said, it depends on if at the end of the day the benefits actually outweighs like the bad part of it. But in general, I think AI is helpful. It's actually going to make things faster, easier. Although the downside is probably be a lot of people losing their jobs and um, so. But I think the way around that would be probably like currently I'm actually trying to get into like studying AI. So like a way around that would be to equip yourself with the knowledge of programming, computer learning, in a way so that you don't actually lose your job to these things. Like for instance, I actually foresee it. I wouldn't see it, but it's actually obvious. Like currently, like this, my university already having like robots. Since it's in Africa, a lot of things are a bit backwards. But we currently have robots already, like replacing a manual labor that maybe takes like 4 to 5 people to like complete. Robots are now doing that. So best thing to do to actually like improve your knowledge towards like in that aspect of robotics or computer learning,
Okay.
so as to at least be somewhat involved in the process. It doesn't matter. It might be maybe diagnostic repairs of that robot or just troubleshooting it.
Yeah, makes sense. Um, hmm. What's your thoughts on let's go. So how do you know if something is factual or false? How do you know something's true or not? Like you say you had two articles, one's claiming one
Yeah.
thing, another one's claiming the other. Well, how do you know one's true or false?
Oh, it's actually not easy, but I think it depends. Maybe I would actually have like my check mark. It depends if maybe I have like information on that, like the topic of discussion, and I'll actually have my own check mark to see if it actually like goes with my own understanding of the information that is being presented.
All righty, man. We got your personality type, man. You ready for it? You ready?
All right.
All right. So the first thing you said was you were searching for a purpose, and this one was actually a pretty good statement, because you said you were searching for a purpose, and then you think it was the best thing to do, which would be to benefit everyone else. So not only did I get to hit you for outcome there, but I got to hit you for TIFE there, and I got to hit you for systematic there. So just off that one statement alone, I got to hit you with all three of those. Okay. If I
Okay.
wanted to understand happiness, I had to get it from others. That's a TIFE approach. very low FE. I mean, very, very low. So that'd be like FE inferior type thing. You said you want to be a doctor because it was a medical doctor. If your dream job, because it had less restrictions. So you kind of like that freedom. You kind of hinting towards the freedom that that's gonna be pragmatic. Trying to understand how things work, how the systems work in the human body. That's gonna be systematic, and that's gonna be TIFE. You want contribution to like research, okay?
Yeah.
Doing something that lasts for years. It's kind of like where you were trying to go. So you're going for that lasting impact. Um, and then on your three wishes, you wish the first thing you said that everybody made it to the promised land. That's going to be
Yeah.
outcome in TIFE regardless of religion. You said move investments into education and science. You said the key to survival is improve systems, memory. Very important to you to understand something. So that's gonna be systematic TIFE outcome again. And you kept going back to, I think it's best to invest in something that benefits a lot of people. So systematic and TIFE. You talked about a lot of possibilities and research. That's why you're going there. That's why you want your PhD. Um, and then the most pragmatic thing you said was essentially you don't see evil and good. It's all about the what is the outcome?
The situation.
It's all about the outcome. Like, is that does the means justify? I forget fucking how to say it, but you get my point. Do the
Yeah.
act justify the means or whatever?
The
That's
ends
your
justify
approach
the
to things.
means.
Yeah, yeah. The ends justify the means. That's a pragmatic approach. That's a utilitarian mindset. Okay. That's gonna be pragmatic. Okay. So with that being said, that's TIFE. That's systematic. That's outcome. And that's pragmatic. You based off all that information, you are an INTP, Enneagram 5, W6.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, well, all right. So
Mm-hmm.
let's put it this way, right?
Okay.
Um. All right. INTP
Mm-hmm.
516. All
Mm-hmm.
right. Number one. I actually had an idea that I was like 516.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I've been into like okay. So introduction to cognition.
Mm-hmm.
So I got introduced into like typology, well, not typology, but 16 personality, the
Mm-hmm.
normal way, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So, once I got there, and I think the first type I got was ISTJ,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I got ISTJ, and at first, you go through the description,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll be like, okay, I see this,
Okay.
but then you know things went adding up, and I don't know, the way my curiosity works is not really like, or I'm like super enthusiastic. It's more like in my mind I'm like, okay, this is, it doesn't fit. It's not making sense. Like
That's TI.
it's not make yeah, it's not making sense.
So
So
it's your
I,
internal
I
logical
went deep.
framework. It's not making conducive, like it's not conducive to the logical
Yeah,
framework
like
you have.
maybe when I like I will zone out and like analyze maybe like my daily behavior and maybe some things from the past.
Mm-hmm.
And then I see like, okay, it doesn't fit in. So I went deeper.
Mm-hmm.
So that from there I actually noticed that what 16 personalities actually using, it's more like they're using it based on like the big five
Mm-hmm.
uh
Mm-hmm. That's the way they kind of figure out.
scaling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's actually the conclusion I came to, because the big five scale is, you know
Mm-hmm.
openness, goes what intuition, right?
Intuition, yeah.
Yeah. So like, and agreeability or agreeableness actually goes more like higher feeling or
Mm-hmm.
feeling functions.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, I mean, sorry, you know the rest. So, to cut it short, so I went deeper, then actually got into cognition itself. I went through a bunch of systems. I mean, you know of OPS. So I went through that, and you know, basically, I don't know. My understanding of it is a bit, I don't know, jumbled up, but I understand it how I do understand it. Pardon me. So, but something was odd, right? Because first thing I thought, okay, I got SI, and there was this stereotype because we all fall for that at first if you don't go deeper. So I fell for the stereotype SI. So the whole good memory and things like that. So it was really odd because like to me I had this picture of okay, I think I'm in a field of medical doctors and people who are like the field it's like high SI focused field, and so I see how they learn. They learn, and it's like they reproduce this word for word, right? Things exactly. And the way I learn and memorize, it's mostly by association. It's actually based on like something that I already understand. It's like I'm building. I'm not just, you know, I don't know, taking it in I have to like make associations and make a whole lot of connection.
That's TI.
And even at then, all right.
That's all TI,
All right.
bro. Yeah, bro, you're TI hero, man.
Okay. Okay. And even at that, if I had to like explain it out, I have to like put it in the way I understand it, not
That's TI.
all right. So
So
okay.
so let me just explain. So your profile will be INTP. INTPs have TI hero. So everything must they have to understand everything. If they read something, they put it in their own words. T users will just fucking reference shit. Like they'll just like they're at risk for plagiarism, really, because they'll just fucking regurgitate information that they hear. But as in a TI user wants to put it in their own words because they want to take it apart metaphysically in their mind to understand what's really going on down there. You know, they're just not taking it at face value. It's got to go a lot deeper.
Okay.
It's got to have understanding. And they'll connect it to things that they've seen earlier in life or whatever, because it's a logical framework inside themselves. They can make sure that everything's congruent. So that's more of that's a TI thing. With you being an INTP, INTPs have TI hero. So everything has to be logical to them.
Would you say that was why I'm actually like a fan of like puns because they're a bit witty and
You said what?
involve like puns, pun.
Puns.
Yes.
Yeah, I've
Yes.
noticed that like FE jokes is kind of like weird. I hate to say weird because that make you feel bad, but they're kind of like different. You know, like Elon Musk brought like a toilet into the when he bought Twitter, he bought the toilet, he brought a toilet into the building, you know, and it's kind of like a funny joke, like he's cleaning out the place or taking out the dump or whatever the fuck it was. You know, like that's like an FE like inferior type joke. So the thing about TI heroes, everything's so logical to them that they actually come off to a lot of people like a robot. You know, they tend to have problems with people because they're trying to like logic doesn't understand people. You know, like unfortunately, you can logic yourself into understanding people. But
Yeah.
you
So
guys are at risk for that.
yeah. So I guess like okay, like going back to like the OPS system. So I think I was using that because okay, I'll just put it this way. The reasons why I actually use multiple systems is that I'm trying to like piece everything together to give me one singular answer. So I do that. Like I get multiple systems and like try to like see everything fitting in. So based on the OPS system, I guess it actually is true. If I'm using the OPS system, it's like it speaks true where I actually have a bit of an issue with people like a lot really. I think or TI, the way I look at it is most with introverted functions, basically maybe the judging functions. I think the more you're invested in yourself, which is a judging introverted function, the less you actually pay attention or invest to the atmosphere outside or like the external judging environment.
Makes sense.
So yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with like the OPS, but
I don't really follow this stuff. I'm not even gonna lie to you, man.
all right.
I think they got some good things in there, but overall, man, I think it's trash. I'm just gonna be honest. I think it's trash. I think it's more like all over the place. Like it's not size. It's like hard to follow. I like something that's pretty systematic. You know the approach that I'm going for. It's not like something like I'm pulling some shit out of my ass. That's the type of stuff I like. There's shit's like all over the place, jumper, blumper, bumper, something. I don't give a fuck about that shit, dude. That I don't.
No, I get like I get where you're coming from. I mean, it's okay, normal.
Yeah,
I think
I like to be able to find
they
the best
also
way to
think
do
that
something. I like to find the best way to do something, and I ain't got time for like wasting time. I feel like there's a whole bunch of wasted time and wasted motion or wasted energy there. So yeah.
I think even at that, there's a thing or two to learn from me, but on the side.
Well, yeah.
And
You got any questions, man?
Yeah.
You got any questions? Questions.
Okay. Oh, yeah. All right. I actually like I had chatting with Cody. I actually had this. I wanted us to have this discussion. What do you think? Like, how do you think staying or living in like I don't know, Middle Eastern country or like a third world country, how do you think like it has its own effects on cognition and how it's expressed? It's like the nature versus nurture discussion. That's like I'd like to like get it from a pro.
I think it may make it a little bit harder because some areas are a little bit more traditional than not. Like in America, they have a society to where it's kind of pro-individualistic mindset. So you can kind of run in trouble of calling somebody pragmatic when they're really not. So you kind of got to understand that based off the region and area or culture, because some people could be coming from a very affiliative culture and then they just force the affiliative on there. Like let's say if you're in China or whatnot, then China doesn't really play that pragmatic shit. Pragmatic gets you killed, Pragmatic gets you killed, everybody killed. They believe in punishing everybody, not just one person. They punish everybody. So you got to put that in the aspect. But the thing is that like when we're listening to people, we're not only just looking at like their interaction styles, but we're also backing that up with the cognitive functions that we're seeing. So it's kind of like a checklist. Like when your first statement was very systematic outcome NTIFE, right there I had you TIFE outcome and what's called that narrowed you down quite a bit right there. And then as you keep going, I can tell that you're informative. So right there, dude, I was already done within the first, literally probably the first 3 fucking minutes. I already knew you type. And the guy before you was an ENTP who thought he was an INTP. So it was kind of fun to see the contrast, because he thought he was a INTP, but he's progression. So progression is all about the journey. As in somebody like yourself, it's all about the outcome, the end product. But like those type of things allow you to make sure like you have a check system, because you always gotta kind of have like a check system. So like a lot of times you have the cognitive functions, and then you have the interaction styles and temperaments, and those two kind of balance each other to make sure that you're seeing what you're seeing. Kind of like helps you out there. But yeah.
All right.
I hope that
Okay.
explains me.
Yeah, I got one more question.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
I mean, you're most likely ENTJ or INTJ, right?
ENTJ.
Okay, ENT.
Shelly's
All
an
right,
INTJ.
so all right.
Yeah,
I
Shelly's
don't
an
see her
INTJ.
here, but
Oh yeah, she's
all
driving.
right.
But she's if you ever seen the other videos, Thomas is also INTJ. Shelly's also
Okay.
an INTJ.
I'm listening. Just
5-wing-6.
Okay.
So they're 5-wing-6
All right.
INTJ.
So, all right. So my question is about FI in general.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have FI fourth,
Fourth.
and she has. Okay, you have FI fourth, right?
Yeah.
She probably has FI, I
And the
don't know,
third.
third or
Yeah.
second.
She
Okay,
has in the
third, right?
third.
Okay, third. So I don't know, like how would you explain FI? All right, so coming here, I like based on some things that happened recently, and some of the things I had planned not going well. You know, and I think around that time was when I actually got into cognition. So for a while I'm always contemplating like my type. So for a while I thought I was leading with FI, right? So I don't know. Is there like a way TI processes its own emotion? Like contrary, I know everyone like deals with feelings, right?
Yeah, so man, you gotta remember like your FI is in the 8th spot. That's the lowest. Well, not the lowest.
Yeah. So
Trickster would be technically the lowest, but it's basically like the demon's attitude, or angelic is like I straight up don't care. The attitude of FI inferior, FI demon would be like I just don't care about morals. I don't care about like I don't care about my morals. I don't care about how I feel. Type of approach, kind of like mine is FE demon, which just means I don't care how other people feel. A lot of times, like I just no matter what I do, I'll just make a move, and it just like I may internally not want to make somebody feel bad, but the moves that I make people feel bad. Like I'll just jump to something and it makes them feel bad. Or I'll say something, it makes them feel bad. Like I don't even know, I don't even register it. And then people are like, oh, bro, you made me feel bad, or oh, you shouldn't have said that. Now I don't want to share something anymore. Like it's kind of like it has that approach that I just don't care approach. And so FI, the way that it is like it's your morals. It's what you find important to yourself. It's about what you love. It's about like what your passion is, whatnot. It's more of that range, right? As in you always said earlier, the ends justify the means. I have that same mindset, but it's not so much as like what you said, where like anything could be good or bad, as long as it justifies the means. Like as long as it has, you can do something bad, kind of like a Thanos approach. You had a Thanos approach, wiping out the galaxy is morally, somebody would say morally bad, but then he's helping, the galaxy itself doing that. So it's kind of like your approach there. But for me, how does FI inferior hit? I'm just, if you took away success, you took away anything family oriented, success, I really don't know what's really important to me. You know, like I never really sat down and was like, what's really important to me besides family success? Like I don't really know. As somebody who is FI hero, they always know what's important to them. They always know the most important person to them. They know like the most important things. Like they just know these things. As in myself, it's kind of like a blank sometimes. Well, it's kind of like I don't even want to go there. It's almost like I kind of run from it. Like anything like FI related, I kind of run away from it. I always try to make the best move on the board, or I take the best action at any time. I try not to make bad moves. And when you do that, it's kind of like you're taking away your own soul from something. If you get what I'm saying.
So, how do
I
you
see
tell
life like
that
a
apart
chessboard.
from having a preference? Then how do you tell that apart from having a preference, knowing what is important to you and having a preference? How would you
And how would I
differentiate them?
distinguish those? Like knowing what's important to you? Well,
Yeah, and having a preference for something, or maybe like you have this hobby you do, like, and you enjoy it. How do you tell that apart from FI then?
how can I tell that apart? I mean, FI is really not my strong suit. Um, I mean, Shelly, you got any? You want to explain this?
Like,
That's me.
uh, sorry, what was the question?
He's talking about like FI, like how do you distinguish something from like a preference to something that's important to you on the FI scale?
I mean, I guess it would be my like what I place value in, like what I care about. I guess I would say that I'm more aware of like how I feel emotionally than the person I'm dating. I'm dating an INTP. Like he seems to his emotions seem to like all flood in at once. Like he has these breakdowns every once in a while where like I'm aware pretty much all of the time of how I feel. I mean, or I repress it. I don't put it out, but I don't know.
Well, I think FI is more of an appraisal thing, right? So FI is like the ability to judge something, right? So you could say this book right here is more important to me than this book. You know, that's FI. You know, saying this movie is my favorite movie, or these three movies are my favorite movies. No, that's all FI related. Okay. Somebody like yourself may struggle with finding like what's your favorite three movies. Can you name that?
Yeah.
Say
No, I do have like
yeah.
okay.
See, like,
I actually don't have a favorite movie. It's more like, what am I getting from the movie? Am I
but
learning something
see
out
that
of
goes
the
back
movie?
down to your FI in the eighth spot. Like you're really not cognitive of it that well. As somebody like an INFP or something, if I asked them that, they jump on it immediately. So it just shows.
I think Star Wars is cool.
Huh.
I mean, I
And I
think
think
Star Wars is
All right,
cool.
like I think A Beautiful Mind is the movie that I always I've liked the most, but that is like emotionally um it's based on how it like I guess made me feel like and the plot and whatnot. So
I don't even really know my favorite movie to be honest. If I had to think about it, it's like I'd have to see.
Yeah.
But like I'm FI inferior, so I mean it makes
yeah.
sense. I'd have to literally scan. I don't really know my favorite movie off the top of my head. Like I'd have to really think. It'd be really tough. But like I said, like when you remove success, money, women, and family from my life, I don't know what the fuck's important, dude. I don't know what. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't even know what the fuck's important. You know, like my best friend kind of always gets on me saying, "You never know what's important to you." The only time I kind of do understand what's important to me is when I have a SI trickster moment. So like John Beebe says an encounter with the trickster will allow you to work on the inferior function. So what that means is like somebody like myself. One time I was dropping my buddies off at this house, and I remember like a couple years ago, me and a whole bunch of friends used to like have a great time there all the time, you know. And to me, at that point in time, I was like, man, like I should have cherished those days better than that. See, that's how my FI is coming in, you know. But I'm getting hit from the past, from my trickster, and it's making me think about like how I'm gonna work on my inferior for the future. So I'm thinking to myself, like, man, if those times ever happen again, I'm gonna make sure that I make them more of a priority. I'm gonna say I make sure that I spend time with those people and make that a priority. So you see what I'm saying? Like encounter with my trickster function made me work on my inferior function. Kind of made me really sad too, but that's
That's interesting. I think it affects me a lot faster than that.
Hmm?
I said I think it affects me a lot faster than that.
Yeah.
Like if I do something and regret it, like it's within 24-hour period, and then I reflect and figure out how I'm gonna do things differently so I don't feel that way again.
Well, it's not that, Shelly. It's like, so a thing from the past was triggered me to think to myself that I should have valued that experience, those people, that time more than I actually valued it. Are you following what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I got triggered by an SI past experience that I wouldn't have not had if I wouldn't like went to that area and dropped them off there. It made me think about the times where I had other friends. We were having the time of our lives, and I just kind of glazed over that whole thing and kind of like forgot about it. And then it made me say to myself, next time things like that happen, I'm gonna value it FI more than I did now. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So that's SI trickster to FI inferior.
That's weird. Okay.
Yeah, it's from John Beebe. John Beebe says an encounter with the trickster will make you work on the inferior. Yeah. But yeah, anything else, man?
Okay, well, yeah.
Well, if you come up with anything, man, we'll be in the group, man. If you're in the group, and we'll love to see you on our mega live, man. Our mega live once a month. We talk about like the goals that we as a team or like every member goes through. And we talk about the goals we accomplished that month and then the goals they're looking to accomplish the next month. We also debate things, we talk about things. It's a fun time, man. Last time it was like 3 hours. We had 18 people on there. A lot of good fun debates. A lot of challenging, a lot of growth. It's fun, man. I know a lot of people are looking forward to the next one, so it'd be awesome if you get on there. It's always the first Friday of every new month at 4 p.m. on Friday, Eastern. So.
All right, first Friday. Okay. But what you I mean I still want to like go back on that FI thing is said FI like puts value and importance. Okay, okay. For instance, now I might be in class or maybe like school, university, and I get invited out to like a party or hang out with friends and stuff, but I turned that down because like I need to like study. Like I'm not here to have fun. Isn't that like I sounds like FI like valuing, right?
So how would I say that? So you basically don't want to have fun with people or care about the actual people experience. Is that what you're saying? You rather just study?
Yeah, it's more like
I think what you're
I
talking
know
about
like
is not an FI
studying would
thing.
get me to.
I think you're looking at the best situation or the best move. Okay, so you're talking about from a long, um, long-term perspective, it's better to study than to go out with your friends. So you've decided to make that move. But that has nothing to do with your feelings or your values or anything. It's just the best move on the board. You're just taking the best move on the board for long-term longevity. There's no feelings attached to it at all. You're like, okay, they want me to hang out with them. I'm gonna say no because this is the best move on the board.
Okay, and how would you put FE inferior? Like, okay, there's this situation. So it's like, is FE inferior really like, maybe when something go wrong, is it thinking like people are out to get it? Like,
So FE inferior, I would say is okay. So when you're around people, like you kind of can be guilted into doing things. Like people can guilt you into doing things. Um, you really like, even though you come off very robotically, you really do actually care about people. That's the reason why, like everything you said, even
okay. I mean, guilt into doing things. I mean, I've had like, I don't know, I've had like ton of, you know, people I know are like, they have like bad habits of things like smoking, but
Mhm.
uh, I don't know about that because I think I'm a bit resistant towards like, peer pressure, but
Mhm.
yeah, I guess the part you're talking about, like coming off a bit robotic, yeah, it
Mhm.
makes sense. And I don't know.
I mean, I think you like INTPs don't want to make people feel bad. Like they just naturally don't want to make people feel bad. They want to help people. That's the reason why like
Yeah,
everything you said goes back to, making an impact to help others. You know,
yeah,
FI person would be looking almost to help themselves. That's more like the FI approach. They're not looking so much as in to help all people at all times. Like they're not sacrificing their life to help everybody else. That's kind of like what you're doing. Like your whole overall goal in life or meaning to the purpose that you found for your life is to try to benefit others. It's almost like you don't even care about yourself. So
I mean, I do. It depends. I do spend like my time doing my stuff and less time with people.
yeah, I mean,
Like I do.
my advice would be to
I mean,
try to work on finding like what you value as a person, because understanding that will make you more productive as an INTP. Figuring out what you value, not what the collective, like everybody else values. Figuring out what you as a person value, will make you a lot better.
mm,
Well, anything else, man? Because got to go. Anything else?
I get you have your systems, but like, more like I'm not really convinced. Maybe I'll probably like,
Mm-hmm.
improve my understanding. It's not
Dude,
like I'm saying
dude, dude, you're an
it's like
INTP.
I've not really what
Dude, I
I've
said
not
like,
really got into
dude, you're an
what
INTP, dude. You're INTP. This is like clear as day. Dude, I knew within 3 minutes of you talking, you're an INTP. Pretty easy to see. What did you think you were?
I mean, okay, look, I'm open to like, different views.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I needed to like, how do I put it? It's like I don't know, it's like a ball of wool. I'm sort of trying to like condense,
Mm-hmm.
like compress everything into like in a way that I understand it. So I'm not saying you're wrong or right. I'm just saying like, oh, okay, I'm going to add this to like what I know and like try to like still arrive at my own conclusion,
Yeah.
sort
Go
of.
ahead. Hey, man. This is just what we see.
All right.
You are
Yeah,
bound
I
to
appreciate that.
you're bound to do whatever you want to with it and use it however you see fit. Um, I mean, we're gonna post a video. You can check the comments. It's pretty easy to see that you're INTP, dude. I would probably just research and do some research on that, you know. And you even talked about having Enneagram 5. Enneagram 5 is like home to the INTP. Like, I'm not even bullshitting. Like, that is an INTP home. It's Enneagram 5.
Yeah, I'm aware.
You should be well aware of that. Like, that is a INTP
Yeah,
home.
I am aware. You know,
Enneagram 5.
I'm just trying to see if like I actually do have FI. That's
Nah,
like,
dude, you
you know,
don't, man. I'm sorry. Go back and watch the
I
video.
mean, since I was little, I mean, I'm just trying to understand like
So you keep going
something that
back to
happened.
understand. Listen. You keep going back to understand,
Okay,
right? Now, I'm gonna break it down
okay,
to you. TI and FE are on an axis together. If you're talking about
yeah,
understanding, that's TI and FE.
mm,
TE and FI don't
yeah, I
talk
get that.
about deep understanding. It's just not, it doesn't, like, we do talk about it, but it's not on that level to where everything has to make sense to us. You know, like, to me, like, does it fucking work? I don't give a shit about understanding why. Does it fucking work? It works. Moving on. That's more of a TE approach.
So,
TE is attached to
so
FI. Okay, on an axis. Like, they're on an axis together. TE for me is up here, and then FI is down here. For Shelly, it's T and FI a little bit because it's parent to
more
child function.
balance.
Mine is hero to inferior function. Okay, yours is talking about understanding. Understanding is tied to TI and FE. Understanding someone's feelings is FE. Understanding something from a logical framework is TI.
Okay,
They are
so
not on the same.
okay,
You
so
can't mix the two. If you're
all
a
right,
TI user talking
okay, I've
about
gotten that
understanding,
down.
you can't be an FI user. You understand what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Like,
I
because
get.
they're totally different axes.
Okay, so would you say between T and TI, which one do you think is faster in like taking in external like information? I know they are not on the perceiving
TE or
axis, but
TI? TE or
yeah,
TI?
which one? Okay,
TE. TE.
I mean,
Because
a lot of TI
TE
people.
doesn't verify the information. Do you understand? Are you understanding me? So TE
Yeah.
doesn't sit there and says, I need to understand this. Doesn't take it to like take it apart. It just accepts it. Expert said this, take it, run. TI is like, okay, I'm getting this information, but it has to make sense to me. That's a lot slower process. It's always going to be slower that way. But, you know, the more you work at your TI, the quicker it'll be because you built something and you built something and you built something. So, you know, like later in life, you know, you might absorb things a lot faster. But generally speaking, TI is slower than TE. But TE makes a lot of mistakes that TI doesn't. You understand what I'm saying? It
Okay.
makes like TE will make a lot of mistakes because TI person be like, bro, that's not true. You're like, huh? Well, this research said this. What about? And then the TI person's like, bro, that's all faulty data, or like that's all doesn't make sense. Does that even make sense? And you're like, oh, TI person, like, you know, but like
I mean,
as you grow,
I guess it makes sense. I was discussing with someone about like cognition and like he was like going with the stereotypes, and I was like, no, you need to like get it in a whole, uh, the whole thing, get it accurately,
that's TI.
make sure, yeah, make sure it's accurate. It's actually fits before you actually
That's
can
TI.
use that.
See, that's why TI is a lot slower though. T just runs with the shit. TI is like, okay, that don't make sense. Stop. Okay, that don't make sense. Stop. Okay, there's a hole there. Stop. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty hard to kind of mix the two, dude. If someone keeps harping back on understanding something or understanding someone's feelings, that's TIFE. Okay. When you start seeing that, it's TIFE. With that being said, they're not a FI user. FI is going to be in the unconscious. Sorry. I hope this helped, man. So if I got it kind of
All
like
right. Thanks.
I get kind of like ragey sometimes, man. But yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I guess it's cool. I don't really have issues with that. More after like the information and making sure like I'm getting the whole accurate picture.
Yeah, yeah.
Doesn't really matter.
Like I said, INTP, just take your time and do the research, man. But I'm telling you, you're gonna come back to INTP, man. I'll be in the group, so you can go ahead and message me. I might send you some laughing emojis back or something. And I mean, I hate to do it, man. I have this INTP girl who thought she was an ISTP, and when she figured out that when I told her she was an INTP, she told me maybe I was wrong, and now she's a little sad about it. You know, poor TI Hero got squashed by TE Hero. Like I said, I'm rarely wrong. I'm rarely wrong, and I tell people if I'm wrong, you need to check again.
That's something.
I tell people all the time, if I'm wrong, check again.
NIT stuff there, right?
Yeah, it's my NI, man. But it's all good, brother. Oh, I got to get out of here. I know Shelly's got to get out of here too. All right, I'll see you in the group, brother.
All right, thanks.
No problem, man. Let us know, man. Do your research, man. INTP, man. Check it. Do your research.
Yeah, I'll continue with my research.
All right, brother.
All right, thanks.
No problem.